All right, welcome back, people. This is J-Face Games. We are building an RPG, and we are looking at different RPG systems and different board games, and we are borrowing from those systems, aka we are ripping them off. No, we're not ripping them off. We're getting influenced by them. We are being inspired by them. And today, we are talking about 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, which is probably the most popular RPG currently. I've played a ton of it. I love it. I think it's a great system. And today, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we do love about it. So, this was mentioned in, I believe, Open Legend, but I feel like it, to me, this is where I first really got a taste for it, which is advantage, disadvantage. I can't spell, so deal with it. Advantage, disadvantage. Simple idea of if you have advantage, what it means is that it's a d20 system, first off. And so I'm rolling a d20 to attack and to do skill checks, everything. And if you have advantage, you roll 2d20 and you take the higher one. So if I roll a d20 on a normal skill check, I get a 12. Oh. If I have advantage, I roll 2d20, I get a 12 and an 18. I take the 18. Disadvantage is the opposite. So I now roll 2d20, I get an 18. Oh, that'd be awesome. But I get a 4. I take the 4. That's a bummer. Really, what's so great about this system is that it's so elegant and it's so easy to implement for everything. So someone RPs something and it sounds cool, DM just gives them advantage. The situation is getting dire and you want to reflect that, you've got disadvantage. So not only is advantage, disadvantage built into a lot of the features and mechanics in the game and feats and those kind of things, and it's done thematically. Like, for instance, Barbarian, Reckless Attack, you get advantage, but enemies also get advantage on you while you're recklessly attacking. Like, that makes sense. Like, so not only is it used in different scenarios and it makes sense and it's cool, but it's also just such a nice thing to just throw around as a DM whenever you want for your players to just add to the theme. What else? Their DC list. Super simple. 5, 10, 15, 20, I think 25. So it's nice when you have a system that has bound accuracy, which for those that didn't see the Pathfinder video, we talked about it. Bound accuracy is the concept of the math behind the game doesn't change a ton as you level, meaning that there's not a ton of pluses to attack that accumulate over time. And so therefore, when you're like, 10th level, you're now doing plus 30 to attack, whereas at first level, you're doing plus 2. No, it scales very slowly in that sense. And what's great about that is that means that, low-level monsters still have a chance of doing some damage to you and hitting you. Everything's kind of within the same math range. So that means that the DC list doesn't have to change a ton because you're not getting massive pluses. So a 20 DC might always feel like, ooh, like a little bit of a challenge. So I like the idea that the DC list doesn't have to be this massive. One of the issues with, say, something like Pathfinder is that when you're DMing it, you don't memorize the DCs. You can't just kind of off the cuff be like, oh yeah, it's probably 20. Every level it changes and scales because the pluses change and scale so much. And so you have to reimagine now what is easy, medium, hard, difficult, etc. So I like that. That makes it so much easier and less weight for a DM to kind of manage that. They have bonus actions and reactions. So I think a lot of people hate the bonus action system or give it some crap. I could be wrong on that, but I like bonus actions. Once again, I like choices. I just want to make sure that when you're playing, you have choices. And so I like in this system, especially when I played with my buddies in 5e, we would even make up magic weapons that had additional bonus action like powers. Because in essence, what a bonus action is that you've got your attack, your movement, and those are your two major things, attack, move. And then you have what's called a bonus action. The bonus action, different classes had different features that would use that bonus action. So if you're a rogue, you could use cunning action, which would occur on your bonus action. If you're a monk, you could take your bonus action and have a second attack, because you're attacking really fast with your fist. But I like the idea that the bonus action exists, that it was not an attack. but it was another action that could still be powerful, could still feel powerful, because I think there were cantrips that used the bonus actions too for casters, but it still could feel powerful and give choices that would add on to your attack or your major action. So whereas Pathfinder, we talked about in the last video, you just get 3 actions and they're all weighted the same, and now the choice is, oh, I got so much stuff to do. I also like the idea that this bonus action is a different pool of actions that adds flavor, that adds just purely different flavor. It still adds to the mechanics, but it's a different flavor to it altogether. That's kind of nice. It is kind of nice to have that still. Reactions. This is in Pathfinder as well. I just didn't talk about it. It's in a lot of different games where you have a different action that is done on other people's turns, and it's a reaction to what's happening. And so you might have different powers that are tailored off of reactions. Moving between attacks. The nice thing in this system is they clearly state that you can use one movement action, and while you're taking that movement action, say you have an attack, and your attack does, your major action is 2 attacks. So they're combined. If I take this action to attack, I now get to attack twice. So I have 2 attacks if I take my major action as an attack. I also have a movement, right? What's nice is that it states that I can attack this guy, move 20 feet, and then attack this guy. That's great. That means that my movement is a little bit more powerful and flexible. In other games, you can't do that. You know, that's one of the things in Pathfinder is that since you have 3 actions, if I take this movement, maybe I only move 10 feet, and then I take my attack, and if my full movement would be 25, that other 15 feet is moot. It's gone. Now, granted, I still could use that 3rd action to take more steps, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if it feels good, and feeling is a big deal in RPGs. You always want, I personally think, you always want your players to feel good about what they're able to do. You might not. You want them under stress. You want drama in the game, as like Matt Colville might say. But you don't want them to feel like their own actions are kind of cheating them of, things. And so there's something to be said about, taking an action, you can only use a portion of it, and then it feels like, oh, that's not maximized. I'm not maximizing my efforts. So you don't want to feel like cheated. And so I like the idea that my movement, once I spend it, I've got all of it, and I can use it if I want to. And I think that's important. Yep. What else do we got? Oh, I like, there are other actions I like. I do like the dodge action, and I like their ready action. They do a ready as well, but their dodge being that, once again, this ties into the nice advantage-disadvantage system they have, where if I dodge, if I spend my action dodging, all enemies have disadvantage on me. Now, I talked about in Pathfinder in the last video how it doesn't always feel like a good choice to use that dodge action because it takes up your entire action, and so you lose your offense. Like you use that as your major action unless you're certain classes, like a monk who can spend a key point and use their bonus action to then dodge. Whereas everyone else, if they want to dodge, they have to use their major standard action. So all of their offense is then gone. So I don't like that choice because that doesn't feel good. Once again, that doesn't feel good. But I like the action dodge, how it's built mechanically, how all of a sudden everyone has disadvantage trying to attack me. That's really nice. The only issue is that you don't want to, you don't want to abuse that, because you don't want someone to have their full attack offensive potential if they're dodging, but you don't want them to have no potential. So it's tricky, but I like it, but you got to think about it. All right, damage resistance and vulnerability. Super simple, that if you've got, if you've got resistance, that means everything's half damage. And if you've got if you've got resistance, everything's half damage. If you've got vulnerability, everything's 2 times damage. Once again, man, 5e kills it in terms of simplicity at times. We talked about last game in Pathfinder how some of the stuff I don't like is that once you get a magic item, damage types don't really matter as much. So I want more versatility in the damage types and mattering. But The idea of resistance and vulnerability just being half damage versus full, like 2 times damage, that's clean, man. That's so simple and clean to realize. Some games like Pathfinder will do like resistance 5, resistance 8, resistance 10, which is cool if you've got something like Fantasy Grounds, where you've got something that is calculating all that for you, and then it's a surprise to the player. But if you're having to do the maths yourself, it gets that can be a little ugly, and this is so much. Basically, that's the stuff I really love in 5e. Now, there's tons that 5e does well. Like, I don't want to go into all of their classes, some of their features. There's a lot of their character design that's pretty cool, but I'm trying to wait on some of that. I'm trying to just go more mechanics and play. So this is my list at the moment for this. We might come back to it later as I kind of think about that more, because there is a lot to love, but we'll get to it. All right, guys, feel free to subscribe, leave messages, comments, hit the little bell, the alert thing, and that'll let you know when there's more coming up. I plan to knock out these. I'd probably knock out a lot of these because I want to get this moving. So I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, take it easy.